Okay, I think we're recording. Okay, let's get this thing started. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to another video. This one I'm really looking forward to make. This has been in the making for some time now. This is my boy Alex. I've been helping him kind of get and build up his credentials in the high ticket remote sales space for quite some time now. Got some cool questions lined up for today's recording. Just kind of want to pick Alex's brain, see how long he's been in the remote sales space, how he's kind of enjoyed it so far. And kind of what he's looking to achieve down the road. So I'm going to kind of give Alex the floor. This is going to be a quick breakdown, but tell the people and the viewers a bit about yourself, what you do as a sales rep, and where you're from, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it. It's good to be on this call. I'm Alex, 24 years old. I'm in college right now in London, Ontario, Canada. Studying graphic design, enjoying it. Picked up the remote space. I've been in here for like about 3 to 4 months now. It's been steady growth, which I love to see. Working on doing the DMs for one of your roles, as well as taking the calls in CRM and managing all of that on close, as well as a lot of triages and stuff. So
heck yeah.
Pretty happy with how it's going so far, for sure.
Appreciate that, man. Just so we can kind of get the viewers, if they're still watching right now, the attention that you deserve. You've been doing this with me now for about the last 3 months. Just to kind of give a ballpark number, how much have you actually been able to generate for yourself profit as a contractor working in the high ticket remote sales space in the last, like, give or take 3 months with working with me?
In totality, it's anywhere between 25 to 30,000.
Okay, and that's Canadian, of course, right? For all the Canadian people.
That is Canadian. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. 25 to 30K in the last 3 months is pretty good. And how much were you making? I guess like a year ago before. I think you worked at the gym. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I was working at the gym. I was making about like 3,000 a month.
Okay, that's not bad. So definitely like a 2x or potentially even a 3x considering on the
quite a big jump, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, fantastic. So we'll get into the questions here, man. First thing I kind of want to talk to you about is, I guess, like your biggest hesitation about getting into the space first time around. So like when this opportunity came across your desk and you're like, okay, like you understood what it was. You had, I think, Mark, one of our guys who was in the space already doing it. What was kind of your biggest hesitation about like getting into the high ticket remote sales space and like kind of giving it a really valid attempt from the get-go?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of my biggest things was being skeptical about the whole thing, right? Because I think when you're looking about getting involved in this type of stuff, you see people online that are making a crap ton of money and doing very well for themselves. You always think to yourself, like, no way, like, but then you begin to understand. You look at the business model and everything that the people, the setters and the closers and everyone there is doing in the back end, and then you realize that it's just like in high ticket sales, you're making like 5 to 10, anywhere between 5 to 10% of like $5,000 or $10,000, and then it all starts to like click. It makes sense. Like, oh yeah, this is actual like work, and like this is actually what's going on, right? So I think the skepticism and then understanding like it's real, right? Like,
I think that's actually a really good point, man. I think for a lot of people, like, they can't really comprehend, not because they're dumb, but they just can't comprehend like how people make money from their laptops. Like, they don't really understand like the work that you can do. The digital space right now is obviously booming, and it's only going to be continuing to grow for the next half decade. But I understand like, hey, like you can really make a ridiculous amount of money from your laptop. It's also quite motivating.
One of the biggest things is that even when I told my mom, like, oh, I got a new job. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I work remote on my laptop. She's like, really? Like, how is that? And then once I gave her, like, I was like, oh, Mom, I made this money. Let's go out for dinner. She's like, okay, I get it. Good job.
I love it. No, honestly, I kind of have a similar story for that too, a couple years ago. But no, I'm the same way, man. What do you think was then like the turning point for you? Like, obviously getting into the space and landing that first offer and me helping you get trained up and all that stuff's obviously crucial to the foundation of your skill set. But what do you think was the turning point where you're like, okay, like this is kind of flowing more, I'm understanding it better, and like you're seeing more cash kind of roll in? Like, what did you really have to master?
For sure. I think the biggest thing for me was like the understanding that there's an art to setting, right? I think there's like a blueprint, and having someone there who's experienced and who's been in the field for a while, who's made the mistakes, who's giving me advice not because he's better, but because he's made the mistakes. I really do appreciate all the training that we did. I think that training allowed me to realize that there's certain ways to handle specific leads. There's certain ways to manage your time. There's certain ways to, handle yourself as a setter.
Hmm.
And I think once you became familiar with that, it's also the fact that like, you're thrown in the deep end, like you're working, so like it's almost like I
Yeah.
have to be figuring this out.
I think that's a good point. One thing that like corporate America does really poorly is they don't throw you in the deep end. They spend so much money on like onboarding and this and that and this and that.
Mhm.
The best way to learn is just literally getting thrown in the deep end, like actually doing it and like making mistakes and acquiring the skill sets and learning and learning and building and
100%.
building. Because then that allows you to make, 30K in 3 months, not like 2K here, 2K there, 2K there, and like growing slowly by paycheck to paycheck. You
Yeah.
can really get, balls deep in it and really make a lot of money.
I think
Um,
also the like for a lot of like corporate jobs and stuff like that, their training and stuff is not as personalized, right? Like they're
mhm,
just watching videos that were made like 5, 10, 20 years ago of like workplace
100%.
safety and all that stuff, right? I think the training, especially the stuff that we did, was training for me, you know?
Mhm.
And that was huge. So I think that was the biggest turning point for me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that too, bro. For real, I'm glad it helped. Talk to me also a bit about like this is something that I really want to cover because as someone who does training for reps like yourself and helps people land offers and get trained up, people are misunderstood sometimes about what high ticket sales is. Like, what was something that you were really misunderstood when you actually started, like in a good way or maybe a bad
Mhm.
way? But what really would like kind of caught you by surprise about high ticket sales in total?
I think the biggest thing, similar to the skepticism, right, is that the fact that it's complicated. The truth
Yeah,
is, like, especially like with people like new things, like everyone's kind of like you're afraid of things that you don't know. So I think like the biggest thing about me was like, especially with ecom and how it's the future and everything's moving online, right? So I think one of the biggest things is that it's complicated. Just like anything like new in life, you're a bit confused, you're a bit like scared, a bit nervous
yeah.
about like how to get started. But once you get started, you start realizing that this is just like everything else in life, man. You put that effort in, and it's easy.
It's not rocket science. It really isn't. Like, especially for
Exactly.
people like you, if you got a little bit of charisma and you actually are a bit outgoing, like obviously, no offense, but I personally don't think everybody can do sales. Like, yeah, it's trainable,
Mhm.
but if you're just like super introverted and like you kind of, you geek or you stutter when you talk to somebody, then like obviously it's difficult. But from
Mhm.
you, from the rip, man, like you were very outgoing, very nice, bubbly guy. So it was very easy for you, I think, in my opinion, to transition you into a really good killer sales rep that was making a lot of money.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah, appreciate that.
one thing I want to ask as well, because like I think a lot of people can actually relate to you on this topic, but
Mhm.
as a full-time student, as someone who literally does full-time schoolwork, doesn't have time for anything else, how are you actually managing working a full-time remote setting job, making money, and going to school, getting your degree as well?
For sure. I think it's super tied into the fact of like one of the biggest like ups to working online is the capability to be remote, right? I think that's huge. Not only the capability of being remote, but like as we've been through in like all the trading calls that we've had, but
Yeah.
timing is important, right?
Yes,
Timing with
sir.
your
Yes, sir.
leads, timing with exactly what you're doing. That's like it's huge. It's a huge key. And if you translate that to other parts of your life, you realize like I just got to be managing my time right.
Hmm.
And it's amazing that like I have the ability to be in class and then step out, pull my laptop out, do exactly what I have to do. Like I don't have to be going to the office or anything like that.
For
So
sure.
taking advantage of both those things really helped manage school and the work. So
Yeah, I mean, like that kind of is a perfect segue to the last topic I kind of want to discuss today, but like the perks of high ticket sales. I can kind of name some myself. Obviously, for me right now, the perks for myself is the ability to set my own schedule. If I want to go, for example, if I want to go back to Europe, for example, south of France, and I want to work, I can set my schedule the way where I can still make that happen and be on
mhm,
any time zone. So that's a huge perk for me. Also, another perk for me is, me having to lug my way into office, right? Running my ass around, getting in the office on time, make sure I'm like really organized on that type of way. I can kind of wake up whenever I want. Obviously, I still wake up early and do that type of stuff, but these are
mhm,
perks that I really, really enjoy when I do work. What are
for
some perks
sure.
been for you look like, I guess, like about high ticket remote sales and working online and I guess traveling?
I mean, first things first, just to go back to what we said, that yeah, remote, right? Like exactly what you said about your first perk that you brought up. I
Hmm.
can do this anywhere, right? I have that freedom and flexibility to be doing it anywhere. Other than that, like traveling, it's really cool to know that like yeah, I could be traveling and still working. Like the fact that like a lot of people have to take time off and stuff like that. I it feels good that like I could be going somewhere and then still be making money, like paying for my own trip. And
Yeah.
with that being said, we're going to Tulum as well, so
Yes, we
I'm
are. We
super
are.
excited for that.
Yeah, no, the retreat trips as well are awesome. I think in corporate
Mhm,
they're a bit stingy with kind of splurging on some fun for the company. Like I
mhm.
know corporate companies that are able to generate millions and millions of dollars on an annual or quarterly basis, and then the bonus is like Tim Hortons donuts, for example, or something like
Yeah.
that. And I've personally been a part of that. Like it's actually brutal. But yeah, so I guess for the viewers watching, yeah, we booked like a super nice Tulum villa coming up this November. So it's really nice to actually go out, meet the team in person, crank out some sales calls in person, and just collectively meet new people and like-minded individuals that you were just working with online now translate to in person working down in Mexico, which is pretty cool.
I think
But yeah, man,
there's
I
not a lot of
appreciate you.
people.
Sorry, what are you gonna say?
Sorry, there's not a lot of people that can say they're paying for their vacation while on it, right? So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's kind of everything for me, man. I guess like on my checklist here. Really appreciate you hopping on. Last thing I do want to get from you is if someone is still watching this video, obviously, first of all, thank you.
Mhm.
Obviously, you are interested in getting into the high ticket remote sales space. Obviously, this is something you are taking serious, or else you would not have wasted 11 minutes of your day. So Alex, for someone who is actually looking and very looking to take that step and get into the space and land an offer and get trained up,
Mhm.
what advice or what would you give them? Any piece of advice? Feel free to be completely honest.
For sure, yeah. If you're looking to get into anything, I totally understand that like you're nervous. You're nervous about your first time doing something new, whether that's like in your personal life or in your business life, whatever you're doing. But those nerves are good. I think they will help you in terms of wanting to be a better rep for wherever you work. I think making that first step to getting started and then realizing that, I was nervous for no reason,
Yeah.
especially if you have someone there to guide you and like, not make the mistakes that like you would by yourself. You could definitely figure it out yourself, but it would take a long time. So I think take that first step, use your resources and just get it done, man.
And then maybe one day they can be like you, bro. How about
Yeah, yeah.
that? But no, man. Again, once again, appreciate you hopping on. Everybody, this is Alex. There's going to be a lot more coming from him. Hopefully, in 3 months from now, we can maybe do a recheck up and see what you're doing, what you've been able to accomplish. I know for you, the next step is landing a sick closing role, which we're going to make sure that happens. But yeah,
Sure.
you hopping on, boss. We'll talk later.
Appreciate it, brother.
All right, peace, bro.